There's a war brewing. The previously undisputed queen of gaming, Lara Croft, has to defend her crown for the first time against Take-Two's feisty new heroine, Konoko. Oni kicks off with a traditional-style anime sequence showing Konoko getting ready to hit the streets, and then explodes into a furore of car chases and flying fists, with Konoko coming out triumphant. However, this all changes when you reach the menu and the loading screens, as the chiseled, dark, moody and athletic Konoko of the intro is suddenly transformed into some US-influenced sex kitten character with a big gun. The plot unfolds. It's 2032. The World Coalition government controls everything. The biggest threat to their totalitarian reign is the mysterious underground syndicate. One person stands between these two factions and all-out war. She is Special Agent Konoko of the Tech Crimes Task Force. An orphan at the age of 3, she was taken in by the government and trained in the most up-to-date combat and counter-terrorism techniques to be used as a tool in the TCTF's fight against growing technocrime. Oni is one of the most well-rounded games on the PS2 to date, and looks impressive to boot, particularly in the building design and the lighting effects. A superb learning curve throughout play is refreshing to see, as so many games just throw you in at the deep end. The training mode and the first few missions of the game gradually ease you into the action. Alongside this is the advancement of Konoko, who gradually refines her combat prowess with new and more deadly attacks that vary the way you fight, meaning it doesn't get too monotonous. Konoko's combat skills are pretty impressive, but take a lot of practice to master. The hardest part is learning to fight in 3D, which requires you to get to grips with the camera controls on the right analog stick. Perseverance pays off, as eventually this just clicks into place. Once you've mastered that, a whole range of seriously stunning kicks, punches and throws are at your disposal. Overall, Oni is a good character-driven third-person action-adventure title. She'll certainly show that Croft woman a thing or two. The latest blood-spurting martial arts offering for PS2 will train you hard in your quest to become Kengo, Master of Bushido, or Master Swordsman. To achieve this higher state, you must win the Emperor's Tournament. You must test your stamina under an ice-cold waterfall, learn absolute concentration with Zen monks, and hone your speed and accuracy in a bamboo forest. Back in the old days, when fighting games were all combos and special moves, the developers at Lightweight offered a different take on the genre in Bushido Blade and its sequel. Having a more realistic weapon-based combat system, you would, more often than not, be mortaled with one fatal slash to the torso, and as such would be rewarded for more strategic fighting. This is the message coming loud and clear in Kengo, with its mix of the sublime and the sadistic. Here, the ultimate path to victory lies within. Starting as an apprentice, you'll work your way up to Samurai Master using a combo of lightning-fast reflexes mixed in with patience, intelligence, and a Zen-like inner peace. During combat and training sessions, these more spiritual qualities will be represented on screen by a ki or spirit meter. This is a new and pivotal element to gameplay, because the more you attack without thought, the lower your spirit will fall. All arenas are beautifully detailed to the point that they actually look photorealistic. The contests occur in a stylish and minimalist Matrix X environment, where special moves cover the screen in a swirling motion blur effect. Characters are easily controlled, moving back and forth with precision, and the animations are nicely textured and smooth, with FMVs and music attempting a cinematic feel. Bushido fans shouldn't be disappointed with this transfer to PS2. There are 18 different stages in Kengo to keep you busy, featuring street battles, imperial matches, and survival battles. But if you need a quick fight fix, it's also there for the taking. Onimusha is Capcom's biggest release since Code Veronica and may just be the most lavish game yet from everyone's favourite zombie meisters. But just what is Onimusha about? The place, feudal Japan. The time, 1560. Oda Nobunaga is on the march in his quest for absolute domination over everyone and everything. He's doing a pretty good job of it until he takes an arrow through the throat in the stunning, award-winning intro FMV. However, the forces of unpleasantness are at work and bring Nobunaga back from the dead, along with an invincible army of demons that no human weapon can stop. Enter Akechi Samanosuke, a samurai of considerable skill. When Princess Yuki is snatched by a massive great monster with jumbo gnashers, he gets the living daylights beaten out of him. Thankfully, a clan of ogre spirits grant him their powers in the form of a gauntlet that makes it possible not only to slay the demons, but to capture their souls for strength, elemental attacks, and weapon upgrades. So, with a young ninja woman, Keida, along for the ride, Samanosuke sets out to rescue his Hime. Onimusha plays like a cross between Resident Evil and Soul Reaver. On Res Evil's side, you have your static backgrounds, simple puzzles, gory cutscenes, and monsters jumping out of the shadows at you. On the Soul Reaver side, you have fluid, speedy, real-time hand-to-hand combat with a variety of weapons, including swords and bows and arrows. You can finish off your victim with a nasty gut plunge impalement, then draw their souls into your gauntlet to level up weapons, armor, and elements. Graphically, this is full-on 16.7 million color manna from heaven, with stunning animation and character models so detailed they look real at times. The PS2 finally has itself something to be proud of, much better than the disappointing Code Veronica. Onimusha is a belter. Hot-footing its way to PS2, Armageddon is an updated, tweaked and enhanced version of what's gone before as MDK2 on PC and Sega Dreamcast, seen as a sequel to the original MDK on PlayStation. That sci-fi action-adventure became an instant classic, with its comic book tale of a six-legged cyberdog, a mad professor type, and one mild-mannered janitor that were going to change the face of stealth as we knew it. In this all-new 3D world, the game opens with a comic strip-style recap of the story so far. The base is the Jim Dandy, an Earth-orbiting ship which contains one eccentric Dr. Fluke Hawkins and his trusty six-legged, cigar-smoking, Uzi-toting canine creation, Max. Fluke yet again urges the janitor to don the coil suit and distinctive sniper helmet to become reluctant people's champion, Kurt Hectic. As the darn ugly alien nation known as the Stream Riders return to invade Earth, Kurt's duty is to take them on and return as victor after shooting, stealthing, and puzzling it out over 10 levels of deliciously destructive gameplay. Armageddon builds on previous adventures, and although the levels remain as in the Dreamcast build, they've all been changed in some way. Environments appear vast and more complete, with the positioning of the alien enemy changing and improvements made on puzzles. During the course of the game, you'll have the chance to play as Kurt, Max, and the loopy Dr. Fluke. Each have their own quirky personalities, which means gameplay will be varied enough even for those gamers with an unfeasibly low boredom threshold. This looks to be the third-person kill-em-all title with all the extras you might want. At the time of print, further tweaks are needed to debug and increase the frame rate. Once done and dusted, hopefully MDK2 Armageddon will be a graphically stylized, very welcome addition to the PS2 and a worthy member of the MDK2 family. The Duke is back, blowing out brains, muttering profanities, and rescuing babes. Has the age of political correctness completely passed this man by? 10 years into the future, Earth has been taken over by aliens who have exterminated all the males and enslaved the remaining members of the female sex. Unfortunately for these low-life mutants, some of the girls managed to escape and form a defense movement known as the UBR, Unified Babe Resistance. They contact Duke through a time portal, situated conveniently in a lap dancing club. And armed with some heavy artillery and an inexhaustible supply of one-liners, he sets about the task of cleaning up the planet. Duke Nukem Time to Kill was a classic festival of blood and guts, enriched with large doses of testosterone-based humor. Knowing that a sequel should be an improvement, we were expecting N-Space to provide more of the same with added features and new innovations. This only goes to prove that blind optimism is alive and kicking at the offices of PSI2. It's not that Land of the Babes is a particularly bad game, because it's not. It's just that it's not a particularly good one either. The jokes that were funny the first time round are still amusing at times, and they've even managed to fit in an unexpected "what's up" routine. However, once you've got over the initial giggle factor at the over-the-top sexism and ample cleavages, there's not much more to keep you there. Throughout the game, Duke keeps up a constant stream of quips and Arnie-style comments, which begin to grate after a while, as does the music, which is dull and repetitive. It's not overly blessed with game options, but Land of the Babes does give you the option of a multiplayer Duke match. Set in a choice of 5 different venues, you can battle a friend to the death. Unfortunately, these games usually last about a minute and are decided by who has the biggest gun. Just like life, really. In summary, a must-buy for die-hard Duke fans, a platinum buy for shoot-'em-up fans, and goodbye for the rest of us. This month, PSI2 visited the creative minds at Jester Interactive, the award-winning company that has brought music creation to your PlayStation. Now it's coming to PS2, teaming up with music giants MTV for MTV Music Generator 2. Lisa Ash catches up with Tim Wright, creative director behind the project, to tell us more.
When Jester first started, a couple of years ago, we were looking for a project that we could do reasonably quickly to get some fund into the company, but also something that would be innovative. So the idea of having a music package was quite a strong one. We approached Sony, and they said if we'd approached them 2 months earlier, they would have said no, essentially. They wanted PlayStation to be purely a games console. But at the time that we approached them, they were pushing for PlayStation to become a home entertainment console. So it was a nice, fresh idea for them. How does Music 2001 work? What does it do for you? It lets you write music in the quickest and easiest way possible. We've broken down the product into 4 major categories, something we didn't do last time. We've broken things down into rhythm, bass, melody and vocals. So what you do is you decide what style of music you're interested in making. Go above one of the categories that are on the screen, such as the rhythm section, click on the button, which is clearly labelled. This drops you into a library of sounds that you can actually demo while you're in the library, and if you want to put those into your track, you simply select them, go to a track screen, click on a space, and that will drop what we call a riff, which is a musical riff, into place. If you then press play, it will play that riff. So it's creating music using musical building blocks. Music 2001 has another leap again. We've gone for very attractive backdrops, especially with PlayStation 2 providing a lot more power in that department. So we have gone for fully rendered 3D skins. And also PlayStation 2 is shipped with the analog controller. So we've revamped the interface, and rather than just using the D-pad, we use the analog controller, almost like a mouse, but we have a special gravity interface that allows you to move from one button to the next, and you're actually pulled towards the various options. So it's a complete and utter revamp, and we think it's definitely for the better. Looking at the performance of the package, we're also very excited about the fact that we've got double the number of channels, because that's one thing when we were using music in Music 2000, we would put some drums in, guitars, singing and so on, and maybe feel that we could have added a little bit more. And with double the number of channels, obviously the options are limitless. Also, getting that extra sample space has just been incredible. We can now do very convincing pop songs, rock songs and indie songs, because we have the space for guitar sounds and we have the space for the vocals. So it's a well-rounded package, and it's, you know, we've tailored it to the capabilities of the PlayStation 2. MTV branding brings us credibility, we feel. The music brand itself, obviously, on its third incarnation, does have some inherent credibility already. But with having a big brand, in fact one of the biggest music brands, acknowledging that this is the software that you need to write music, that's just vindication that we're doing things the right way. We're looking to get MTV Generator 2001 on the shelves in spring. A firm date hasn't been set yet. As far as hidden features go, we want to put some in. We have some ideas, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, otherwise they're not hidden features.
In each issue of PSI2, we'll be bringing you the coolest game saves for the latest PS2 games for you to download to your PS2 memory card. Once you've unlocked these game-busting saves, you'll be gaming like never before. Downloading the saves is simple. Firstly, make sure you have a PS2-compatible memory card inserted into memory card slot 1 of your PS2. Your memory card needs to have been inserted before you boot the PSI2 disc. If you haven't done so, then switch off your PS2, insert your memory card, and reboot. Before using the PS2 cheats on this disc, you must have an existing game save on your memory card for the appropriate game. Your existing game save will be overwritten when you activate the PS2 cheats on this disc. You have been warned. To download, simply select the game save you want to download and hit the Download to Memory Card button. The status bar at the bottom of the screen will display progress of the download. When your save is fully downloaded, the message Download Complete OK will appear. Simply press X to confirm. Switch off your PS2 and insert the relevant game CD. Then simply load in your new game save as you would normally from your memory card. It really is that simple. All the saves stored on the CD have been developed by a selection of the greatest gamers around, so you're guaranteed the coolest saves ever. What could be easier? In this issue, we bring you the coolest saves from MotoGP. Enjoy! Avant-garde fashion designer Kosuke Tsumura launched a fashion line to accommodate Panasonic's new wearable electronics. Panasonic's eWear ST audio players are compact wearable devices that let listeners enjoy music saved on postage stamp-sized SD memory cards. The MP3-compatible SV-SD75 is an incredibly small, wearable digital audio player that's about the size of a book of matches. It can be worn either around the neck, on the arm or wrist via the snug-fitting armband, or attached to a pocket or belt using a multi-purpose clip. And as the player doesn't contain any moving parts, the music will play flawlessly without skipping a beat. Select pieces from Tsumura's high-tech clothing line will be available at the Final Home boutiques in Tokyo and New York City later this year. Join the Legion of the X-Men with this massive video collection of 9 animated titles. Courtesy of Universal Pictures Video UK, we've got 5 copies of this must-have set, and we're giving them all away to the lucky readers who can answer the following question. Just pick up the phone, dial, and fingers crossed, you'll be a winner. Which mighty comic book company publishes the X-Men titles? A. Dark Horse, B. DC, C. Marvel. If you think you know the answer, call the competition line now on 09064 701720 and follow the online instructions. You'll be asked your answer and for your name and address. Lines will close at midnight on Wednesday, the 11th of April 2001. Winners will be picked at random by our computer and announced in PSI2's May issue. Winners' details will also be posted on the Code Junkies website, www.codejunkies.com. Calls cost 60p a minute at all times, so get permission from whoever pays the bills before you dial. PSI2 caught up with the designers of UEFA Challenge, Infogrames' latest football festival for the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. The French developers reveal all regarding the stadiums, players, teams and features for all you football-crazy fans out there.
In fact, we have about 75 clubs side, as well as 30 national teams. Among the 75 club side, we have signed a special deal with 25 European clubs. So we have the real player name, the real player face, the official shirt with the sponsors, the badges, everything. Try to be as most realistic as possible. The stadium, we have about 15 real stadiums, so the most famous one in Europe. So we have San Siro, we have Nou Camp, we have Old Trafford, we have Highbury, for example, in England, Stamford Bridge, as well as some fantasy stadium and some training, specific training stadium. In fact, basically you can do whatever you want in this game. You have custom tournaments, custom leagues. You can have some special present competitions. So in fact, like tournaments, straight league. So you don't have to custom your team by yourself. So it's very quick competition. You have a quick start also, of course. And one of the most important one is the Club Challenge, which is quite a new competition where in fact the goal is to reach the top division. And you start at the bottom one. And in fact, depending on your ranking and your score, you get points. Each time you win a match, or if you win by more than 5 goals, you will have more points. And at the end, we have an overall ranking. So that's just to improve you. This game is developed since more than 18 months, actually. Yes. On PC and on PlayStation. In fact, we wanted to have something which bring a lot of, which represents the real atmosphere of football stadium. What we have done is, for example, if depending of the importance of the match, the stadium is going to be more or less empty or full. And if you are playing very badly, for example, and maybe you can start the game with a full stadium, but if you finish the game, you can see that there is a lot of empty space in the stadium because the crowd has left. So it's quite a nice touch, I think. In fact, each player has a strength attributes, and if I can simplify, he can receive more or less of arch tackle. And when in fact he will have maybe also 5 or 6 depending of his strength, he will limp on the game on the screen. You will see it, and in fact he can do nothing special left than he's not used at all for your team. So in fact you will have to visit him. No, in fact you can. I think it can be very funny to look at the fantasy stadium you can unlock. There is one which is quite retro and very. Quite a unusual place to play football.
Ever wondered what it would be like to have the ability to play your favorite games without any boundaries? Ever wondered how your friend breaks through to the highest levels of every game or beats your scores with ease? He probably didn't want you to know about Equalizer Extreme. Within the millions of lines of code that make up your favorite video games, there exist variables and vulnerabilities. With the ability to manipulate the variables, you have ultimate power over anything and everything. Infinite health, infinite lives, all weapons, all items, all characters. You go anywhere, you do anything, and you kill everything. The Equalizer Extreme video game enhancer is available for PlayStation, N64 and Dreamcast. Constant code updates at codejunkies.com ensure that you'll always have the power to beat the game. We wanted to give you a taste of the Equalizer Extreme's ultimate power. Once you see how Equalizer can change your gaming experience for this title, just imagine what it can do for the rest of your games. In this issue, access the greatest codes for Final Fantasy IX.